Captain's Log Supplemental.
Fascinating.
Aye, sir.
Live long and prosper.
But it's a mystery. I don't like mysteries. Give me a bellyache, and I got a beauty right now.
4 phases locked and ready to fire, sir.
In the hands of an adolescent.
I'm a doctor, not a mechanic.
I guess I'm such a jerk, man. Because I know when I was a kid, there were times that like things would freak me out, and I'd be pretty big crybaby about stuff. But I don't know. Now that I'm older, I just revel in their misery sometimes. Speaking of children, getting into this episode. Oh boy! All right,
causing us misery.
Yeah. Now, yeah, exactly. Maybe it's payback.
It is payback. That's what you.
Yeah.
You put this on us.
No,
You brought this on us.
It's my fault, huh? Hey, everybody, what's going on? Welcome back to Geeking Poetic Podcast. I am your, I guess, sadistic child-hating host, apparently, Larry Roberts. Across the table over here, Big Red.
Big Red.
As we like to call him, Big Red. Big Red over here is none other than
Vito Marchese.
All right. And then right here, the singing, clinging going on in the middle. No, not a clinging. What if you were any, besides human, if you were any alien species from Trek, which would you be?
I'm going with Betazoid.
A Betazoid. All right. Interesting. Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Read all your fuckers' minds.
You don't want to do that.
It's probably a bad idea.
Vito's mind is just full of like bad TV and movies and
Pizza and beer.
Pizza and beer.
You nailed it, Negan. Maybe you are half Betazoid. Right? You don't even know it.
And other weird nonsensical conspiracies and thoughts about things and stuff. Yeah.
Pretty much, man. That's a daily basis.
Exactly. So, but anyway, all right. So Miss Betazoid herself, otherwise known as
Megan Guess.
And we are here doing another episode, another installment of the ever-present and amazing and explosive Trekking Poetic. A Trek retrospective. That time I tried to get a little wind in the willows-y with it, and not so bombastic. Simply
Totally fantastic, yeah.
But anyway, yeah, you're watching Trekking Poetic. We talk about Star Trek.
Among other things.
Yeah.
Like Shaggy and late 80s, early 90s rap songs. That's
yeah.
what we do around here. And Limp Bizkit, too.
Nothing's off limits.
Oh, Limp Bizkit. Every time with the Limp Bizkit. No, nothing is. We should make things off limit on this show, but we don't. Because we just simply refuse to ever learn. As we've already hinted with the beginning discussion here when you first tuned in, we are getting ready to talk about the 9th episode of Trek. The original series specifically we're talking about. Much to these guys' chagrin, we're not talking about Next Gen yet. They got to wait. You got a little bit of a wait.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Just a little bit. Wait a little bit. But we were talking about the 9th episode, this wonderful
piece of cinematic gold and
this one is called what's it called, guys?
Miri.
Fucking Miri.
Yep.
Now, some of you out there, if you haven't watched it, or maybe you've watched it and you like it, you might be like, why are they acting like this about that? What's so bad about Miri?
The kids.
Guys, yeah. What? So let's just jump right into it. What's so bad about Miri?
That, was really fucking annoying, man.
Dude, okay, so look, I talked about this in a past episode, so we're just in anticipation of this, but I'm just going to get right into it. So, on a lot of TV shows, I'm not a big fan of this trope, but on Star Trek in particular, I cannot stand when they do episodes that are kid centric. And I mean, all joking aside, I sit there and joke about how I hate kids and all this kind of stuff. And it's not completely.
Hate 'em.
Hey, we were all kids once, But I kind of hated kids when I was a kid. Now that I think about it. But in all seriousness, aside from that, the problem is that it's whenever they would put kids on shows like this in these episodes, they would make it so goddamn obnoxious. I mean, it's one thing to have these kids there, but it was like, okay, again, like Meg, you and I can maybe talk about it, getting into a discussion of what the episode is about. So they receive like an automated message again or something like that from this planet that appears to be Earth-like. And they go down there, a away party goes down there and find out that it is this weird Earth-like kind of planet, but what they soon find out is that the inhabitants of this planet have a disease. There's a virus disease kind of thing going around that
they gave themselves.
Yeah. That when you hit puberty, this disease starts to take effect on you and you start to get weird lesions and stuff on you and everything, and gradually you get sick and you go crazy and then you die. So this place is being run more or less by a bunch of belligerent ass obnoxious little fucking kids.
Really, really old kids, but they're kids.
Oh, we'll get
in their minds, they're still kids.
Yeah, well, I was just gonna say. So the twist on it is that they're not actually kids anymore. They're
several hundred years old or something like that.
More than that.
300, I thought.
Yeah.
They said.
Turns out they're really old. So for a girl like Miri, it's kind of weird because even though by all practical purposes she's supposed to be like 12 years old or something like that, in actuality she's a couple hundred years old, and now she's finally reaching a stage of like puberty. So she's inside, she's feeling a lot like a woman, and she feels
I feel like a woman. Is that song? What is that song?
Did you really just sing?
Is that what it is?
Is
that what it is?
Man,
Oh, man.
I feel like a woman.
Yeah, that's right.
Shania Twain.
Yeah, there you go.
Do you know how much I fucking hate that
You
song?
did it, Vito. Look what you
Wow.
just
Do
did.
you know how much?
She's fucking still that song, and you just triggered the fuck out of Larry.
Do you know how much I hate that fucking song, dude?
Do you have to play it at the cover shows?
No.
Oh,
No.
I would quit.
I thought that probably why you hate it.
No, I would quit.
Okay.
I would actually, if
I
I
think he would quit.
if I
yes.
joined a band and they were like, you have to play this song, I'd be like, you know what, guys?
Yeah, this ain't worth it.
I think it's not.
I'm done.
No reward is worth this. I hate that fucking
Really?
song. And for anybody out there that's like, oh, it's a good song, fuck Shania Twain and fuck her husband at the time, Robert Mutt Lange, because I give her credit, she probably didn't even know what was going on, but he did. They ripped off that song from a song called Uncle Salty by Aerosmith.
Really?
Off of I Can Play It For You.
Oh my god, it's obviously a ripoff.
Yeah.
Dude, I'll play it for you later. Like it's one of the most blatant, like they stole the melody line of that song so verbatim. I hate that video because then even the video's not original because it's just a spoof of Robert Palmer's Addicted to Love video.
Oh, really?
They just twist it around where it's her and then the naked guys playing the guitars and all that stuff, which is okay. That's kind of funny or whatever, right? But still, even the video's not original. Plus, Uncle Salty is one of my favorite Aerosmith songs, so that doesn't help matters. You know what I mean?
I told you.
Don't rip off the good shit.
Jesus, I didn't know what I was walking into here. I was making a fucking gag. All of a sudden, got a fucking diatribe from Larry because he hates Shania Twain. Christ, man.
Well, everybody out there needs to know. So boycott that
Public
song.
service announcement right there.
And that's one to grow on. But anyway.
Back to Miri.
Yeah, back to Miri. So she's like falling for Captain Kirk. And then at the same time,
And
she's...
it's not so weird because she's 312, not 12.
Right.
So it's okay.
But it's pretty weird.
It's
in
pretty
the
fucking
context
weird.
of
Kirk had a little eyes for her too, it looked
well,
like, right?
Yeah, and that's what I was going to get into.
Pretty sure it's fucking Kirk and Miri make a porno, I think. Pretty right?
Exactly. It was getting a little Kirk and Miri make a porno.
Ugh.
You're not kidding. It's no good. It's no good. No good comes from it at all. But no, I mean, yeah, let's address that elephant in the corner of the room. Yeah, it's one thing for them to say, well, Miri was having feelings for Kirk. And okay, that's not even unusual. I mean, I get that. But the fact that Kirk seemed like he was a little bit reciprocal of it was like, and they even address it because somebody kind of calls him out on it, and it's like, well, but she's not a little girl. She's actually 312. It's like, look.
Yeah, but dude, I mean.
Like, look. Yeah, I'm sorry,
She's
man.
still shaped like a little girl. Come on.
I'm sorry, man. Yeah, exactly. If you came across some girl that was like, I'm actually like 37 years old, but in every way, shape, and form. And I'm not talking about somebody that was born with dwarfism or, something like, because that's different. That's fine. But I'm talking
more on like the petite side. But obviously, she doesn't look like she's a...
No, I mean, everything about this girl is that she's a pubescent girl.
Yeah.
And I don't care how long she's actually been on the planet. Even like her mentality and everything. And to me, that's what matters the most is that. So that was creepy, man. I'm sorry. That just added even one more thing to this episode that was like creepy. And then she notices that Rand kind of has a thing for Kirk. Like that becomes pretty apparent. But not even just that. I mean, Rand and Kirk aren't like necessarily acting out of line or doing anything, but it's like Rand is being emotional. And Kirk is trying to, be like a good friend and captain, and Miri's getting all, just typical. I mean, that's a typical female thing to do anyway.
Yeah, typical chick move.
But especially a young girl move that doesn't know how to deal with these kind of emotions and stuff. So, I mean...
High school bullshit.
Yeah. And here's the thing. So I'm summarizing all that because I'm getting to a point. So all of that stuff, I am getting to a point.
Get there eventually.
Don't give each other... all right, fine. You talk. You talk about this piece of shit, creepy, weird, molesty, obnoxious kids episode. Go for it.
You were doing so good.
Yeah, that whole thing was creepy. I will say, though, when the show first started, I was like, oh, this is actually pretty cool. There's a desolate planet.
That's what I was going to say.
There's this zombie guy that looks like the new Corey Taylor mask from the Slipknot stuff coming out. I was like, all right, this has some promise.
Yeah, and those
right?
the sick adults, the zombie people, that was pretty pretty messed up. I agree.
It almost had like a George Romero, Night of the Living Dead sort of feel to it.
It started out
and
promising.
how the crewmen and stuff started catching it too.
Yeah.
Just them being there.
And I love that kind of like disease-ridden, like it's so contagious, everybody's going to get it eventually type of stories where you're kind of confined.
Right.
Those are cool stories to me. So that aspect I kind of liked. I like Bones discovering, trying to get like the cure or whatever. I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, Bones is good in it. Yeah, like I'll get, if we want, so it's not all negativity. Yeah.
No, not
Bones is good.
Just the kids.
Yeah, just the kids were fucking terrible.
But then then I was going to say, then it really takes a turn because then we introduce all the little kids that are like hiding out. Mm-hmm. And again, now we're going to get to the flip side of what we were talking about with Miri. So then there's John, right? That's his name.
See the green army jacket?
Yes.
Curly-haired guy? Okay. With the fucking Brooklyn accent or whatever he's got.
Dude, okay. Now here's the thing.
Looking like he's supposed to be in the fucking Warriors and shit.
Right. Right. All of a sudden he comes busting in. All of a sudden he comes busting in confronting Kirk and them, and he's like, "You shot Cyrus!" Comes in. All of a sudden, they're like Kirk's on the communicator and everything, and he's like, "Kirk to Enterprise," and he just hears over the communicator going, "Warriors, come out and play." But dude, that guy, Michael J. Pollard was the actor's name. He's been in tons of stuff. Okay, I don't necessarily have anything against that actor. As a matter of fact, that he, amongst a million other things, he was in the television adaptation movie miniseries called The Odyssey that came out in the late 90s. Did you guys ever see that?
That sounds familiar.
Armand Assante plays Odysseus.
Real? Oh, dude, yeah, okay. I remember that. It was like ABC or something?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, I vaguely remember that.
Awesome.
Yeah?
Like one of my favorite movies of all time. Not even just favorite like miniseries. Like I love that, and I can't find it anywhere. So if anybody has any tips on where to find that, like, let me know. I still have my old VHS when I taped it off television. That's all I have of it and stuff. But yeah, that movie's great. Like, oh, so good. Somebody explain to me why you hire a man. Very clearly a man. There was nothing. I get that maybe his personality was kind of, teenager-ish, kind of. I don't know. But why do you hire a man that's almost 30 years old to play a pubescent boy?
Well, I mean, look at Beverly Hills 90210. Those people were in their late 20s, and they're playing,
they were playing
early college.
They were playing like 16, 17, 18-year-olds.
Not 12-year-olds.
And granted, getting what's her face to play Andrea on there was like a stretch.
Yeah, it was a stretch, yeah.
Ian Zierling trying to be, he was clearly a grown man. I don't, they've done that for years. But this has to be one of the most blatant cases of like, oh my God, what are you thinking? Because because even when I watched it again recently, I'd forgotten about him. Because I purposely, I think, forgot a lot of things about this episode. And I forgot about him. And when he was in there, I was like, well, who's that dude? Like, I wasn't thinking he was one of the kids, because I'm like, that is very clearly a fucking full-grown adult man. So, like, why all of a sudden, dude, this episode is a fucking mess, man.
There's a lot of things wrong with it. When the kids are in that room, like, hey, quiet, they don't know we're here yet. And they start yelling and screaming, and the window's fucking cracked and opened.
Right.
And fucking Kirk's out there with Spock or whatever. They're walking down the fucking street. They can literally see the kids and hear them. Why are the kids yelling? It's obvious they can hear them, dude. What the fuck, man?
You know why? Because from everything I read and from like notes you gave me and everything, those kids were a pain in the ass to actually direct because, in part, a lot of those kids were not actors. They were relatives of cast and crew.
That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
There was the one little girl that was Kirk's daughter, wasn't
Elizabeth. She was 5.
Did she have the green plant hair?
Yes.
I think so, yeah. And they had a heck of a time because she wasn't an actor. She didn't know, like, she's there with daddy. Yeah. So they're like, okay, we want you to be like angry and slap your daddy. And she's like, no, that's daddy. And it's like,
yeah, she kept going up and laughing. It was like us trying to do a take.
Well, you can see when the kids had a run, when Kirk like threw that kid on the fucking floor, one of those girls ran and she was laughing into the camera. I mean, you could see it clearly on her face.
I missed that.
It's pretty good.
That's what I'm saying. I think that the makers of this episode, they had good intentions, but that fucking little creep with the bonk on the head.
The bigger kid?
The horse face kid?
That horse face kid.
Bonk
on the head. Bonk
so fucking
I was
annoying,
like,
man.
And that was the thing. I mean,
yeah.
Oh, God. Why? So obnoxious. Like, we said, here's the thing, folks. When we started doing Geeking Poetic, not just Trekking Poetic, but when we started doing Geeking Poetic, one of the things we all agreed on was that while there would be times we would be critical of stuff, that we didn't want to ever just be like super negative, that we didn't want to like just totally shit on things. And I stand by that, but God damn, Miri makes it hard.
Well, we gave this episode
some
a
props.
couple. Yeah. There's a couple positives in there.
I forget her name. I'm sorry. Let me look real quick. Kim Darby, the actress that plays Miri. I think she did a good job.
Yeah, she was good.
I thought her acting was okay. I thought it was decent. I thought Rand did a really good job in this episode. Like I said, the tension was good and all that kind of stuff. But I guess I understand that the kids were basically supposed to be the villains, in a manner of speaking, of the episode. But they really weren't. They weren't villains. They were victims, that just didn't know any better.
Right.
It was kind of weird. Yeah, it was it was a depressing episode.
Well, they actually didn't air this again until the 90s or something because of that reason.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, it was too depressing and sad for TV.
Wasn't this one of the ones that, because there was a handful of original series episodes that the BBC banned.
Really?
Outright banned. It never got shown in England.
Huh.
Until
the 90s.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, originally shown in 1970, but it was not reshown until the 90s, along with Empath, Whom the Gods Destroy,
Right.
and Plato's Stepchildren.
Right.
Because it dealt with unpleasant subjects of madness, torture, sadism, and disease.
Right.
Is Plato's Stepchildren one with Clint Howard where Kirk has to do the horse thing?
Oh.
Or is that different?
Maybe.
That might be a different.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not
I know
for
Clint
sure.
Harwood's coming up real
he?
soon, and we're
Okay.
talking about the Corbomite maneuver. Oh, that episode's a doozy, but kind of in a good way, though.
In a good way,
Like in
yeah,
a good
I think
way.
so.
Like it's not like this piece of shit we're talking about right now. Yeah. So I mean that. So it's a depressing episode. It's not. I don't know. It's one of those ones where at the end you don't necessarily feel good about it. You don't. I don't know. You just walk away from it going, okay, well, Kirk's kind of a creep. And I mean, we already know he's a womanizer and everything, but that got a little creepy. And
A little much.
You know, the whole kind of like, well, good, they managed to solve the problem with the disease, so those kids will be okay. And I'm just sort of like, yeah, great.
But aren't they still going to be out of food in 6 months?
Well, I'm sure they'll figure that out. I don't
They
know.
beamed out some food,
Yeah.
some sea rations for them,
Beat down some beef jerky and some
meals ready to eat.
Yeah, maybe they left some people behind to help them learn how to
I
Oh, I thought you
take
meant
care
to
of
eat.
themselves.
to eat.
Well, they could have done that too, I guess.
Get a couple red shirts down
We've
there.
got a couple
Right?
of edible red shirts down there. Yeah. So I don't know. I don't want to rag on forever about this episode, but
Yeah, doesn't Rand disappear shortly after this one?
yeah.
So maybe
really?
they left her there. Yeah.
Well-
yeah, because this is the episode that caused all the issues after the rap party.
Yeah, do you know that whole story?
No.
Apparently, somebody who she wouldn't name names, but somebody who worked like an exec that worked on the show tried to get funny with her and everything,
Wow.
and she wasn't having it, and basically tried to get all up in her shit. And then surprise, surprise, not shortly thereafter, she gets fired.
Mm-hmm.
We don't need you anymore.
Mm.
And so once again, I hate to keep bringing up negativity, but if we're going to this is history, we of the show, we got to, if I bring up the good, I got to bring up the bad. For all the, Star Trek was so groundbreaking and, great for minorities and women and all that stuff, man. Minorities, yeah, to agree, but women in the Star Trek world still just on and off set just had it rough
Yeah,
sometimes.
the raw end of the deal.
And they even fucking nixed a minority in this one because I didn't see Uhura on the bridge. I saw some fucking funny looking dude with that earpiece sticking out of his ear. What the fuck was up with that?
Right, yeah.
But there was a wall pencil sharpener that I found quite hilarious. So
Was there?
That's for sticking your dick into.
Keep
Oh.
Shatner in line.
Yeah.
From the little
I haven't
girls.
seen that since fucking third grade or whatever, man.
Shatner going up to Miri being like, you ever use that pencil sharpener? I want to see how it's used. I told you it's creepy, man.
I think I misunderstood when I was watching this. I thought that the disease caused the kids to like reverse age.
No,
No, it slowed down their
Yes,
age
it slowed down their
Yeah.
age. That's why they were so
until
old.
they reached puberty, and then it vastly accelerated it.
But so ultimately the problem was, even though there were a bunch of those kids, they were all ultimately doomed. Even though some of them, like Miri and 30-year-old John, were more immediately doomed. Because they'd reached that point. But anyway, I don't know, guys. Yeah, I don't really want to ramble on too much longer about this one. But I didn't ask you, although I think we already kind of have an idea. So where does this episode rank so far? And out of the 9 episodes we've watched and reviewed, where does Miri rank for you guys? Curious to know where this goes.
Towards the very bottom of the list. And the reason I say that is basically on Starfleet protocol alone. Because the officers left their communicators on those tables
Right.
and walked away from them. And the kids came in and stole the communicators. If you're on an alien planet with you need your communicator. You do not leave your communicator behind. That's Away Mission 101.
Yep. I agree. No, that's
a good valid
that's
point.
an excellent point to bring up, and that's the kind of shit we do need to bring up on this show. That's the kind of thing. Those are the kind of plot tropes that piss me off. I don't, Yeah, man, I'm glad you brought that up because that's a really good
The rest of
point.
the episode fucking amazing. I loved it. All of it I loved it. Except for the communicator thing. You guys lost me at that.
He's lying, folks. This
Pants
episode
are on fire again.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
this episode is doggy doo doo.
Yeah, but I probably will not ever watch this episode again.
Not if
Pretty-
you have.
pretty sure,
Not
yeah.
unless there's like a specific reason you have to.
Yeah, so.
Megan.
I think I am putting this one at the very, 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 very last.
Yeah, it's worse than
Even
Charlie X.
worse than Charlie X.
Why?
At least there's only one fucking kid in that one.
Yeah,
That's true.
that's man. Yeah.
okay.
And any other particular reason?
No.
Okay.
Should I have one?
No,
Am I missing one?
just
Am I
asking,
forgetting
just
something?
making sure because if there's no like a extra thing I didn't bring up, yeah, I don't.
Those kids were just real goddamn annoying.
Yeah,
I don't ever want to watch that one again.
yeah, I'm with
I'll
you.
watch Charlie X first.
Yeah. Well, it's at the bottom for me. I'll watch Charlie X before I watch this one again. So I don't want to talk about Miri anymore.
Okay.
All right, then we're done.
Then we blew it. It's over. Move along. So, in all seriousness, I think we've rambled on enough about that. I can't wait to get to the next one because the next one is definitely a step forward. I think is a much better story. Still has issues, but much better story and everything. Not nearly as annoying. Which the next episode is Dagger of the Mind. That I once wrote a song about and called it Dagger of the Mind because
You're a fucking dork.
I am a dork, man. I was in a technical thrash.
The man that named his band Kayla's Clone.
Hey.
Yeah, that's true. Wait a minute.
Let's calm down a little bit.
Yeah, at least I didn't name the band after something Star Trek.
That's true.
So, but anyway,
Calling the kettle black bear.
right? Yeah. So, anyway, all right. On that note, we shall say sayonara, auf Wiedersehen, farewell, bye bye,
Adios.
adios, amigos. Can Megan do it? Can you do it? There you go.
Getting better, guys.
Yeah, it's still that right hand's still a little skewed. Oh no, she's straightening it out. No, not quite. There we go. Oh no,
Or
oh.
we get a credit card and go and see how close those fingers are.
That's as close as they get. They're just bowed, okay? They're a little bowed. I don't know what you want from me.
A little bow fingered. Heard of bow legged, but not bow fingered. So
They're cowboy fingers.
yeah, there you go. She's got spurs that jingle, jangle, jingle. All right, everybody. Peace out. See you
ya.
later.
This communication has ended.